Welcome to the Crow's Nest. I'm the captain, Mike the Mailman. That's me first mate, Jimmy the Jedi. And joining us tonight, Marie Bernadette. Jimmy, let's review the Skeleton Crew.
First, I'd like to say that from last week to this week, someone's been practicing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Marie, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, I've been definitely enjoying the show and been hard at work making all kinds of cosplay stuff.
Yeah, I can see that in your new place. So before we get started, I guess, tell us your initial thoughts last week when you watched episodes 1 and 2. Where are you at coming into episode 3?
I thought it's so much fun. I mean, I love the premise. I love the, kids without a supervisor just out causing mischief. And I adore the four younglings. They're awesome. So I'm very excited to see their journey. So
yeah, it has been a fun ride so far, to say the least. We got Imperial activity in the house. Good evening. Yeah, what a ride. You're right, bud. So good. Mike, how's your week been, Mike?
Good, man. Good. Just braving the elements, making the magic happen.
There you go.
Yep.
Santa's little helper.
Yeah, you know it.
Very busy.
They sing the songs about the jelly old fat man, but just remember, it's the cranky old mailman that actually brings the presents.
Gets all the work done. So, all right. Well, yeah, man. So, yeah, because Bernadette, you're a teacher as well, so you're probably in the midst of all the crazy last 2 weeks of school, roughly.
All exam review time, students coming, turning things in late, all the works.
Yeah. So, but this show, Skeleton Crew, episode 3, titled "Very Interesting as an Astrogration Problem." First off, I love the titles of every episode. They're always a quote from the show so far. Just awesome. Let's just go around the horn here and say, so turn this on. Did it meet our expectations for week 3? How are we feeling? Oh, Nemo's here too. Nemo, what's up? He's over there on Instagram, a buddy from Texas. Bernadette, how are you feeling about episode number 3?
I thought it was great. I'm very intrigued as to where they're going, because it seems like it's almost too easy. Like, they don't have, there's no way they have the correct coordinates. They're going to end up in the right spot immediately. But I thought it was very cool. I half expected when he joked about, or when Jude Law's character talked about finding his friend, I half expected that we were going to end up on Takodana and see Maz Kanata.
Yeah, I thought maybe. Mike,
but
yeah,
still,
Mike,
still awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I can't complain. Mike, what about you, buddy?
It's just meeting all the expectations, man. I mean, I just find myself smiling ear to ear the whole time you're watching it. It's just pure joy, like just so much fun. It's hitting all the notes. The kids are just amazing actors.
Those kids, man.
Yeah, and Jude Law, like he's just a pro, dude. Like just so good.
Yeah, that's what everything we've heard so far about him is that he's like having, working with those kids and just teaching them stuff, and what a great assistant he was for all the directors. This one's also directed by David Lowery, who directed episode 2. Also has connections with Jude Law as Captain Hook and Peter Pan and Mary, I believe, from Disney. So Tahu's here. He made it this time.
All right.
Friend from down under. Thanks for joining us, Tahu. I had to say the same thing, guys. And this is a funny story. So I'm sitting there and I was doing some work, kind of getting ready for the show. And I was clicking through the internet. I was doing some stuff. And then I come across this Skeleton Crew review show, and I click on it, and I can just tell right off the bat. And this guy is going off about what BS this show is and blah, 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 and how terrible these kids are actors. I'm like, are you just trying to hate? I just kept looking back at Molly. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I was like, this is amazing. Like, they got to Kim, and I'm like, this is even more amazing. Like, I'm just blown away by, and we'll talk about it as we're going. And if you guys are out there and you want to talk, you got a point you want to bring up. just having so much fun with the show. I don't know how anyone dislikes. If you have any kind of imagination or had any kind of fun as a kid, like I don't know how you don't
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
what we're seeing right now. Because this is
Mhm.
the guy. I don't know who these people were. I mean, they're no one I had heard of before. And I'm not trying to knock them for that. I mean, they could be good at what they do, but he's like, yeah, the script is so bad. There's no imagination. I'm like, what are you talking about? No imagination. I kind of want to go back and find these guys now and be like, message them like, are you sure? But yeah, absolutely loving it. Our opening scene is at Atten. So it's really kind of, I like the way that this opens up because, we ended with, I don't know about you guys, but I watched episode 2 right before we started episode 3.
Smart.
And, you got all the pirates and you have all this crazy Star Warsiness going on. And then boom, it opens up and it's at Atten. There's no humans out and about. There's one droid running. It looks so institutionalized, like something out of like 1984 or,
Mhm.
something like that. Like, it's just like, I don't know. It was so what I put institutional, and
Too
then
clean.
yeah, too clean,
Yeah.
too institutional. And it goes into all the parents are kind of there. They got all the parents together. You have a Mama Neil, which is pretty awesome. Um, I love those creatures, man. They're stealing everyone's hearts, I think. And of course, they start talking about trying to find these kids, and the droids are like, you can't, they're outside the barrier. We can't do anything. The supervisor isn't going to risk it. What is going on here? Like, what are we thinking? I think the supervisor's a droid or some kind of like central brain or something. You know what I mean? Like, not a person. What are you guys
Probably
thinking
not.
about? Yeah, what are you guys thinking about when you see this opening scene?
Hmm.
I thought it
Go.
was so interesting that it was Wim's dad who said like, "Oh, we're going to contact the Republic," and then everything after that seems like they probably haven't had contact with the Republic in centuries.
Well, yeah, I mean, they don't know about Alderaan, right? Like,
Yeah.
Or
they
at
don't
least the kids don't. The parents may or may
I think
not.
this is like a village thing going on. You know what I mean? Like hiding from like, you ever seen the movie The Village? The premise is you think they're in the 1700s and it's actually modern times and stuff.
Right.
But, I mean, yeah, I don't
Wild.
Yeah.
know.
I don't really have any theories. I'm just kind of waiting for it all to be brought to us because I don't know. There's nowhere my mind can go that they can really figure it out. You know what I mean? Like I just kind of want to wait and see what happens with it. But I was really happy. I was a little bit worried that we were going to get a lot of exposition back on Atten. A lot of following the parents around and stuff like that. But it was really just that one scene. It just gave you enough. Yeah, the parents are worried. The kids are out there, and then it went to the kids' adventure, and that's where I want to stay.
Yeah,
That's the fun part.
yeah, I'm same as you guys. I mean, I thought that was a great way to start it, see what they're coming from, and then they jump. The backgrounds, the CGIs, the sets. What do you guys think about? Like, I mean, even though it's institutionalized, I love the way it looked. It kind of looked like what Coruscant with, it was like something out of Andor, kind of, like it looked real like that.
Yeah,
and
a
then
bit.
you get into the pirates. You get into, was it Port Borgo?
Yeah.
And you have that scene, like they're escaping and stuff, and then they show that big scene of like all the way they had to get all the way across this market, and there's all these ships, and then we'll flash forward a little bit to when they get to the moon to get to Kim's, and I'm loving. I mean, I thought some of the ship stuff looked a little bit hokey, just a smidge. Like, I'm not trying to knock it. I mean, it's but I'm blown away. How do you guys feel about how it looks? You feel like we're in Star Wars when you're watching this show?
For sure. And it doesn't feel like sometimes the volume can feel where it's confined and wonky, it feels big. It feels expansive. It feels real. Like they're doing a hell of a job shooting it, really.
I'll say the one thing that like really stood out to me was the scene when the kids are like falling asleep on the ship and they've got the hyperspace in the background. That felt exactly like being on the Halcyon. Which when I was on the Halcyon, they had the hyperspace in the windows, and it really felt like you were there, and I felt like the kids were really there. That whatever was, however that was filmed, the lighting was on them, so that was all absolutely had to be practical.
Yeah.
Because you could see how like the little flickers of hyperspace. I mean, that's what it was. We like fell asleep to like blue window, so it's really cool. I don't know. It felt real. It felt like it was there.
Yeah, that's I think that's the best thing about this show so far is like, I don't know what it is, like just that scene. I mean, it stands out because you're like, you know, we can come back around to the stuff before, but those kids are all asleep and he's having that conversation, and there's just these little bits and pieces that are just kind of pushing. I think the pacing of the show is really, really good.
Yes.
They're just giving us enough. You know, you get a little bit, someone drops a line, you're like, wait, what? You know, and they just keep pushing. I really think that the pacing so far has been phenomenal. I can't say enough about it. Jod, we get 3 different names. You know, we're yelling for Captain Silvo. He introduces himself as Jod Nawood, and then of course Kim calls him Crimson Jack. How are we feeling about? I mean, because this is his first real appearance in the show. How are we feeling about Jude Law, Jod Nawood, Captain Silvo, Crimson Jack? How do you guys feel about him? Marie, go ahead.
I think he's a very cool character. I'm excited to learn his backstory. I know it's a lot of like speculation, like does he have the Force or does he not have the Force? I think it's plausible that maybe he was like a really young like kid in the Jedi Temple and then, you know, had this much training in the Force and then escaped and, you know, grew up as a pirate or something. But I don't know. I think it's also possible that he doesn't have the Force at all, and it's just him doing magic tricks. So I'm excited that I don't know the answer.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, like, I said before, like I don't want him to have the Force, and there was at least 3 times in this show where he used the Force, and I'm like, oh, dang it. But Marie's right. It still could be a trick. Like all the little things that he does, like when he turns off the lights, could have been just timed right.
I think he was holding a switch at that point in his hand.
Yeah. And when he did the thing to make the guards hear a sound behind them, it could have just been luck. You know what I mean? Just all these little things that you haven't seen him lift anything with the Force or anything like that. It's all been, there could be another explanation for it. And that's great because you want to, like, he is this mysterious person with the 3 different names or more maybe. And, you know, the mysterious background, and you don't know if he's good or if he's bad or what what his intentions are. He's a bit of a scoundrel. So the more vague they can make all this, the better. That it just builds more into his character. So he's knocking it out the park. I mean, seriously, just not doing a lot. There's not like a ton of exposition or anything like that. Just subtle. He is the part, you know, he's a pro. I mean,
yeah, I mean, you look at the caliber of people that have got involved in this show, just with Watts and Ford. I mean, you think about the Spider-Man, you know, Tom Holland Spider-Man stuff. I mean, this is where we're starting. And then you bring in the directors that they have and, you know, Jude, I mean, I'm thankful. I saw an interview or something today, and someone was like, "Well, why did you pick this one?" This is the first time they've asked. Like I've been waiting, like, you know, and so it feels like one of those things too, where because these kids are doing a great job. You know, we talked about a little bit. You know, Marie, you were on the show, and we talked about the Acolyte, and I did have some complaints. Like, I didn't think those girls did a great job. I think they were fine. They'd do better than I would, and all the people who were complaining about them, they would act a lot better than them as well. But these 4 kids, and then you know, Jude Law. I mean, I just feel like everything has kind of come together for this show to be awesome. I don't know. I mean, I've always been a fan of Jude Law, and I think he's playing this character so well. And it's just little things, you know, like you said, Mike, before we got on the air about Wim going up into the, you know, just that delivery is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What I love the most about the kids is I feel like they're written as like developmentally appropriate kids.
Yeah.
like my background in psychology, and so we can talk about like how kids reason differently than adults because their brains are just different. They make stupid decisions, and they push the flashing yellow lights because they can. And a lot of their conversations, even though like as adults we might look at that and say, oh, that's really stupid, that's what kids do.
Yeah.
Like they're written as kids. They're not like small children delivering adult conversations.
Yeah.
It feels stupid when that happens.
Yeah. No. I think it's funny because like I said, like it just happened on that YouTube channel. I don't know what made me click it, but you know, like all the dialogue. I'm like, this dialogue, I feel like I mean, I love it so far. Like I feel like there hasn't been any cringy moments, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen anything that's making me cringe. I mean, like Mike, like you guys said, like I've just been smiling. Like I feel like an idiot because I just smiling the whole time.
That's right. The writers have been able to put themselves back into that position of children and like put themselves in that mindset. And to your point, you know, give the kids lines that act as if they are kids. And like you said, not adult lines spit out of the mouth of children. It's every single thing. Like you think of a time in your childhood where, I mean, we were never on a spaceship hurtling through the galaxy or anything like that, but in our minds we were. But just their little arguments and the way they interact with one another, and there's like you can go right back to some time in your past where I remember something just like that. Yeah, that was just like me. You know, it's just great.
I'm trying to find who voiced Kim. Sorry. I maybe that's one of the reasons I like the show so much is like it's just like our imagination, Mike. You know, Mike and I have grown up together of the stuff we used to play as a kid. Like this is being played out in front of us, and Goonies and Star Wars mixed together. I'm blown away by it.
We never found a starship in the woods, but man, we tried.
Right. Dad Vader's over on Instagram. He says, "Hello there, spoiler. General Kenobi and I have the script. Well, you keep it to yourself."
Yeah.
Imperial says, "If it helps, KB's parents are Gary and Marie." I like that.
Okay.
And there's some pushback about that. Like we're not getting into it. Like,
who cares?
The parents, who cares, man? They love their kid. Good news, Mike. No one has the Force on how it works. Meaning. Am I the only one who keeps mentally ticking off? This is from Tahu. I'm the only one who keeps mentally ticking off the questions you got correct thus far on Explore the Force questionnaire. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go back and look at that. We got about 20 or 25 people before I cut it off because I was like, I'm not going to be able to keep track of all this. But I will be interested to go back when the show is over and take a look at
tabulate it all.
Tabulate and see how we did and how we guessed. But so I mean, all this stuff happens. I don't know. Is there anything before they take off to go to visit Kim that we need to talk about? You think? I like the hookah bar. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But I can't get over how much it looks like it's practical with the pirates, all the aliens. I mean, people are complaining they want more aliens. I feel like you can't ask for more.
I know.
When you're getting in this show right now. Then, I did have one thing. Okay, so he goes in. The kids have that great scene with him where they make him go back and get SM-33, and he reluctantly goes, which I think, just shows that he's got that little bit of good because he could easily overpower these kids and whatever.
Yeah.
But then he wakes up that second droid and it says the prince is in danger. Do you think it's referencing anything? You just think that's something?
It has to. I'm sure tomorrow there's going to be Easter eggs from this episode, and somebody's going to know what that's referencing.
I think new rock stars will know what it's from. Those guys seem to have an army working for them. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious as to what we thought that was about, or if that was going to be like, I was like, oh, that was kind of a random. But that's the stuff that I'm loving about the show so far. Yeah. There's no need for that. But it's like, oh, what does that mean? You know what I mean? It's kind of like old Star Wars where they would say one thing and then not worry about it. Like, oh, back in the Clone Wars.
Yeah. I love the droid, the Clone Wars, the battle droids.
Yeah. So, I love it. What we got here? We got Nerf Atari drums. I'm not saying that right at all, but over on Instagram, hello, I love Star Wars. Are you loving this show? Let us know in the comments there. We are. If you can tell, we're all still smiling, I think. What's Dad Vader? Dad Vader's here. We got Battle Droid back to the
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Did we win?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised too if somebody like tracks that battle droid back to a specific scene at some
Oh
point
my
too.
gosh.
Like,
Yeah.
this is the one that was here.
Oh yeah, the Death Star droid. Yep. I had one of those when I was growing up too. Like silver. It always creeped me out a little bit, but so we're doing all this stuff. That droid, they have these great scenes. I think the interaction on the ship between Jude Law, and these kids, like, just phenomenal. I mean, just building the story, these little bits and pieces here and there. What does that say? Imperial says, and the ZC droid. Yeah. Awesome. And they get to, I don't say, they say the planet. I always have the subtitles on, but I didn't see the name of the planet.
I didn't see anything about the planet name.
Yeah. What do you think of that whole planet? And I was just blown away. Like, oh, that's something new. Like, I've never seen that before, and I thought it was great. And then Kim shows up, and that, I mean, where was it? Up here, I think. Yeah. He says, yeah, Jod's friend Kim. That's what I said too. Owl and a cat. Like, that was a combination, but it worked.
So cool.
Mm-hmm.
Flying around and dealing with the kid. I mean, how do we feel about that whole scene, going up to right before the X-Wings and stuff? What were you guys' feelings and thoughts on just all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I need to know more about Kim immediately. She's automatically so cool. How old is she? Is she like Maz Kanata old? I'm kind of picturing like someone who knows all kinds of stuff about star maps is probably a longer lived species, but maybe not.
No, yeah, I had that same thought. Yeah.
I don't know. Very cool.
Yeah. Got an Archimedes from the Sword and the Stone kind of vibe for what were you gonna say, Mike?
I was saying we got to see, you got the image, the iconic image that was released before the show ever came out, him standing in front of the doors of their place. So we got that, and we got introduced to Kim. She was on the poster, and everybody's, what's the owl thing? What's the owl thing? Now we know. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think she's got to be kind of longer lived, right? To have cataloged all those different star systems and stuff and have all that data, all those data pads in it or whatever it is, like all scattered throughout her telescope there. It's really cool.
Yeah. I just blown away by that whole, it's just like it just kept building and kept getting better. I don't know why. It just weird timing of going. Someone in the comments of that other show was like, "Oh yeah, I heard this one's going to be crap." I'm like, why do you people even watch Star Wars anymore? Like, what is wrong with you?
It's hard to figure.
Yeah, I don't get it, but I just thought it just kind of built on itself. There's some great imaging of the kids that them walking. I think they have that, the walk across the moon in the background. That was awesome. They get up to that observatory. That was something we hadn't seen in Star Wars, I don't think, before. And then Kim, of course, is a new species we don't know. And it's just a little bit more mystery. What's their relationship between the two of them? Right, because they don't trust each other. Because she uses the word trust like 4 times when he's outside the door, like trying to set them up because she won't trust him and he knows what's happening. I just think that they're doing a terrific job. And that CGI, or I don't know if it's CGI or practical, that animatronics of that pet.
It's a combination, I think they said.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Dawn can tell us. They work for Legacy Effects, so we're going to reach out to them and find out how much. Because usually the ones that build all that stuff, they're the ones that built Grogu and everything like that. So I'm curious to find out how that was, because it just flowed so well. It looked like a bird. I don't know. Awesome.
Did you guys have any thoughts of what who they were going to introduce before we met Kim? You know what I mean? Like, they showed when she was dialing on, you saw like her claws dialing in. Did it bring it to mind, like, oh, maybe it's this person, or maybe it's this person? Did you have any thoughts like that?
I thought it was Maz at first.
Yeah.
The way he was talking, yeah.
And I was like, is that Maz? I couldn't tell. I was kind of straining to hear the voice. But yeah, I don't know. That was my first instinct, was that maybe it was going to be Maz.
I thought maybe Maz, just because so many other people had said, maybe Maz is going to be in this show, but I didn't really have any thoughts myself. I just, when like I said, whenever you saw her claws there dialing in and you hear the voice, I didn't know if it struck anybody as, oh, maybe it's this person, but
when I saw that, I didn't think of a person, but I thought just the like the 3-fingered claw. I was like, what if this is another of like Yoda, Grogu's, Yaddle species?
Yeah.
That would have been crazy.
Like obviously it looks different. It didn't look like anyone's hand that I recognized,
Right,
but I was like,
right.
could be, but
Yeah,
still
no,
works.
I am kind of like not speechless, but I'm just I'm running through this episode in my head as we're talking. I'm just like, what didn't I like about it? You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, I like this. I like this. I like this.
Mhm.
The only thing I didn't like was it ended. I was like,
Yeah.
weird. I don't know about you guys, because like Molly and I was sitting there and it said it was like 40 minutes or 39 minutes, and it was like boom, over. And I was like, what?
Awesome.
And then you think about how much happened. Like, I'll go back. I'm sure you guys probably will too and rewatch it. There was a lot packed into this episode, and it went by so fast because it was so much fun. And I want to know more about all these. I hope that wasn't the last we see of Kim. I mean, she kind of gave that whole like "call me if you need me" thing.
Yeah.
It was cool. Imperial says the barrier was explained by Neil. The swirls in the sky, I think they're caused by the red dot satellites. Yeah, I thought that was cool. And it's just little things. And each kid gets their piece, and especially that end scene when they're getting away from the X-wings, they're becoming a crew.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
Job,
for sure.
I mean, when you fly, they're like, "When?" We've seen that. It was even funny. We knew it was coming. I thought it was still funny.
Uh-huh.
Then, he's got KB working, the controls over there for what is it, hyperspace, and then the kids getting tips. And how do you feel about them as a group? I mean, this is our first 10, 20 minutes of them as a group. But how are you believing it? Like, I feel like, for me personally, and you don't have to agree with me or anything like that, I feel like this is going to be a really fun crew. And it's I mean, we're only 3 in, and we got 5 more. I think some really coming down the line.
Well, them congealing as a crew, the talk has already started about a season 2, because before the show even started, it was like, there's no way there's going to be a season 2. The kids are too old. It's not even possible, but it's been, I don't know if it's been successful, but there's been nothing but good press, nothing but people saying good things about the show. So if that equates to actual success, if they're getting the views that they want, 3 episodes in, you're going to have talk about a season 2. And this episode, that just the end of the episode, like you're referencing, where they all have their spots and they're all becoming a crew, that leads you to an idea of what a season 2 could be. You know what I mean? They're not going to be kids anymore. They're going to be teenagers probably that, are just rocking it out on this ship that, you can have all kinds of different adventures and whatnot, exploring instead of the adolescence, exploring the teen years. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at those pictures of the kids, like on IMDb, like the girl who plays Fern, she's like a teenager already.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack and I talked about this on the main show because that was kind of the news we talked about. These kids, I mean, Marie, this, like these kids are going, Mike, you've got kids. These kids are going to explode as far as growth and changing, and they're going to be like different people by the time they started filming in a year. They're going to look like little mini adults probably. But whereas Tahu had a good point here. Where is it? I got my mouse here. So we're talking about those X-Wing pilots. Did you guys think, Mike, this kind of comes back to the question you asked about Kim reaching out and like who she's talking to? I was waiting for Carson Teva to pop out of that. I thought that might be a little too on the nose, or someone that we recognized.
Yeah.
Tahu says he was wondering there, and Imperial says, yeah. Apparently it's a Commander Kent. So, but were you surprised that it wasn't anyone we didn't know? I mean, did you think it was going to be Carson? I don't know.
I was expecting it to be somebody, and I wouldn't be surprised to find out that it is somebody that, I just don't know of.
Yeah.
Because there is so many different connections within this show. So he, that guy might have made an appearance somewhere else. I just don't know. Like I said, after the first 2 episodes, there was just this laundry list of Easter eggs, most of which I had no idea about. Some of them I caught, but most of them I had no idea. So who knows what we're going to see tomorrow online about, maybe Commander Kent is out there somewhere. We've seen him before.
Yeah. That's a good point. What about you, Marie?
Yeah, I love, as far as like Easter eggs and things, I love they started talking about the Old Republic, which I don't know as much about. I'm more of a High Republic person,
Mhm.
but I'm sure they're going to bring in some Old Republic lore if that's the route they're going, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I would feel like, we've so many fans who love the Old Republic. And again, I haven't read those books, and I started kind of coming back around to the reading and having time to do it, and they decanonized all of it. So I'm kind of like, do I want to get attached to these characters? If I ever have the time, if the High Republic ever stops, which I hope it doesn't. Excuse me. Maybe we'll dive into some of those. I mean, some of those characters and Bane and Revan and all these people that we've, I mean, fans love them.
Yeah.
And so it's a tough. But yeah, I think that'll be great to pull on some of that stuff that, I feel like I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan, but I don't know a lot about that. So that'll be exciting to learn as we're going along too.
And of course, I hear great work, and I immediately think Lena So from the High Republic. So
yeah,
I'm waiting for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, because it could. I mean, technically, it could be from the High Republic. It could be from like the Old Republic. I do think that they're going Old Republic with this.
Older, yeah.
But it makes you wonder, how long have they been hidden? What's going on? Like, there's so many questions, because you got, they're barely scratching the surface of AT-ATN yet, right? We just got that Thielen called the kids Linderlings. What's that? Eternal treasure. What are they talking about? Is that throne room that we've seen photos of? I feel like I said earlier, the pacing of the shows and the pacing of the story is awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of just giving you I'm pissed I got to wait a week.
Yeah.
Well,
this was the longest we had to wait 8 days for this episode, so only 7 until the next one.
Yeah, thank goodness. My gosh. And then, so there's some stuff that just, like I said, like I like the little tidbits of information, and they're like, oh, we learned about, I can't remember exactly what the kids said, but they're like, Alderaan, and Kim's like, they don't know. I thought that was really cool. They don't know about the war, so they've been sheltered for a while. So that whole stretch, probably of the original trilogy, and
probably beyond.
Yeah, way back before that too. So, what is there anything else from this episode that really caught your eye or stood out?
The scroll, when she rolls out that scroll and talk about the great works and the other planets or whatever that were created as part of the great works, and how AT-ATN is apparently the only one left. The other ones have been destroyed. Just another little, like, it's kind of like the treasure map, or just another little scrap of evidence, another little bit that we're adding to the story of what this place is and what it might hold.
And so cool that it was a physical map in an era of Star Wars that there isn't that much physical media.
No, you never see it. Yeah, I love that. How about the symbol of the great works of AT-ATN being able to turn into coordinates and things like that? I thought that was really clever. Yeah. Just fun little Easter egg map. This gave me some serious Goonie vibes when they rolled out that map. You've got, just waiting to get to One-Eyed Willie. But yeah, I loved it. My last note for this show was so much damn fun. Like that was the thing I wrote as it, because I was like, oh my gosh, it's over. But where do you think we're going next? Do you have any idea what's episode 4 going to be? I'm going to find out who.
Sorry.
What do you think? What do you think's next for our crew?
Episode? Well, I don't know, but I think, like Marie said, the coordinates aren't going to take him to AT-ATN for sure. It's got to take him to another. There's only 5 more episodes now, man. But
this is Daniel's episode too, and they've done some really cool and really crazy. They're the ones who did Everything Everywhere All at Once. And
Yeah.
that movie was weird AF. I mean, it was fun, really unique. I don't know if you've not seen it, you should watch it. Don't watch it on an airplane like I did flying back from Great Britain, because the hot dog fingers makes things a little awkward. That's all I'm going to say. So, kind of like, my God, I'm not watching anything weird, I promise. Because I had no idea what was going on. But yeah, so those are the two directors that are coming in for this next episode. So this
Interesting.
They're fun.
Yeah.
I think this one's going to be like, because I mean, I think they were working on a Marvel movie now. Like that's why they haven't really been out on the press as much, as I think they're working on one of the Marvel films that's coming down the line. But yeah, I'm super excited for the show. I love it.
This would be the time to get crazy, because we're 3 episodes in. This is where you can veer a little bit away. You can expand a bit before you have to bring it back into the actual, so yeah.
Oh my gosh, I just had a thought and it's escaping me now, man. Dang it. So last 2 episodes, I gave episode 1 a 10. Mike gave it a 10. I gave episode 2 a 9. Mike gave it a 10. How are we going to score? How many Tulus are we giving this episode out of 10 Tulus? Poor baby Tulu. She probably misses her brother Neil. Hopefully that thought will pop back into my head while you guys are.
Yeah. Speaking of the Neil family, I was a little surprised that Mama Neil wasn't more. I figured she would be going ballistic that her son was gone. That family loved their kid.
That is, because it seems like Wim's dad's the one who's throwing. I mean, I guess they're all kind of upset.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. It was,
but I get, practically, it would cost a lot of money to really have her being more animated. You know what I mean? Like, because so I guess it was just easier that way. But
yeah.
But back to the writing.
You never really saw her from the front. You kind of just saw like,
exactly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'm giving it a 10 again. I'm sticking with it.
Solid.
I'm just loving this series so much. Like, I tell you, this is a tough time of year. I've worked in retail for 10 years. Now I've been working in delivery for going on 8 years. Like, the holiday season is so rough. I love Christmas, but these jobs do everything they can to pound it out of you. You know what I mean? So to have something like this to look forward to now, like, it's every day, I'm just smiling ear to ear while I'm watching it, just loving this show. So yeah, I'm sticking with 10.
All right, Marie, what about you?
Yeah, I'd go with the 10. I don't have any faults for it. This is a great show.
Yeah, I'm going to go 10 as well. And I know there are people out there going to call us shills and whatever, but I just having so much fun with this show. I don't care if, how is estimated the unofficial guardian? Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that relationship already. He's like, the Jedi giving you problems, Nick Frost is doing, Shmi, I know that's what Nick Frost is doing an awesome job with the voice. And I love this droid. I don't know how Disney continues and Star Wars and Lucasfilm continue to bring us new droids the way they do, and the way they just, I mean,
just instantly fall in love with them.
Yes, it's nuts to me that you can, I know they try to paint him as a bad guy at first, that scary red light when we got the first photos of him, but like you said, Tahu said, the unofficial guardian. I love that. But yeah, it's just a credit to the people who write these and create these characters and create the physical. I hope we get some really great behind the scenes when this is all over, 2 hours, like Empire Dream style, just dive into it, let people know what it took.
Have you watched the documentary that they released with this yet?
Which one's that?
I forget what it's called, but it released last week with the first 2 episodes. It's on Disney Plus.
How long is it?
I don't know. I haven't clicked on it yet.
No, I had the opportunity on there, so that's cool. I'd go check that out. And
it might scratch that itch you're looking for, but
yeah, I need to know. I'm gonna be reaching out to Don and them and see what they're allowed to tell us about that stuff. And hopefully we'll be able to bring you guys some cool things. But I'm loving the show. Sounds like you guys are loving the show. I can't wait for next week. There's no Is there anything that you like? I mean, can you find any fault in this episode? I mean, I don't want to sit there and like try to find fault, but like, in all fairness, like, was it a perfect episode? And we all say yes. Is there anything that we're just like, oh, I don't know, maybe that brings it down to a 9.9?
Yeah.
I didn't see anything.
Me neither. I don't know that I'm qualified to be a show reviewer or movie reviewer. Because honestly, I come into these things every time like I want to be objective. I want to give good review. I want to hit all those points, but I can never find. I'm too much of a fan. I can just never find anything to really pick on.
Yeah, no,
I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars when it is Star Wars.
Yeah, I think this is it. I know it's a little bit different from what we've gotten in the, but everyone complains that all the Skywalkers are Skywalkers. We want something different. We want something different. Well, we get something different, and then those same people are complaining. And I always go off of my gut, just like Jod tells us to do. Follow your gut, trust your gut. And if I'm smiling like an idiot when the episode is over, then I'm going to give it a 10. It's just like The Force Awakens. I left The Force Awakens. I'm like, holy crap, that was amazing. And then, yeah, it took a little bit. You're like, oh yeah, it's kind of a retelling, but I'm like, who cares? I had fun. Yeah. I didn't have the same feelings after The Last Jedi, and I came out of The Rise of Skywalker pretty happy too. So I'm like, I'm just going to go off how I base it and not try to break it down too much. Like you guys said, just if I'm smiling at the end of the episode, or if I want more, I'm like, holy crap, it's over. I think that does it for it. So
yeah, we're Star Wars fans. If we're enjoying it, I think other Star Wars fans are probably going to enjoy it as well.
Yeah. It's weird to me too. And this is kind of the last thing I don't want to talk about like the negative stuff, but the hype, because people are liking the show, it's less, you know what I mean? Like there's not so much yelling and screaming. Does it feel like, everything I see except for this afternoon or this evening has been positive? Like, and any of the other, Force Center podcasts and some other people that we listen to or watch, loving Neil. But there's no like yelling and screaming about it. So that's got to be a good sign, right? I mean,
yeah, you'd think. Yeah, the positivity is so quiet, but negativity is so freaking loud.
Yeah.
There's not much of it.
I might start screaming how happy I am. I want to be a loud, positive person. So these negative Nancy's running around trying to bring everybody down. But yeah, I was just awesome. I know you guys are both on the East Coast, so I'm going to let you get out of here soon. But thank you guys both for joining us. Marie, it was awesome getting you back on the show. We'll talk and block you out for another one here pretty soon. So, and keep working on that High Republic stuff.
Yeah.
It looks awesome back there. Mike, we'll talk soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
we may be pretty angry come Sunday, but yeah, we'll talk about it.
Games are going to be rough, but for all of us, you guys, thanks to you, everybody on Instagram. Thank you guys for, on the live feed, Tahu, Imperial, Dad Vader, everybody that's joining us. And if you're watching this afterwards, like, leave comments, let us know what you think of the show. Give us the rating, what you think so far. Who's you got a favorite character, favorite lines, whatever it is, let us know. And I'm sure Jack and I will talk a little bit about it on Sunday. I'll have actual time to think and not be emotional. But for all of us, we have spoken, and we will see you guys next week.
See ya.